I have a little bit more editing to do on this week's video, so I thought I would take the office down to the beach. Much better. Change of scenery is sometimes all you need. It is cold down here at the beach. There are dozens of ships parked out, as they always are, to get into the ports, but not as many walkers and riders because it's so cold, at least for Southern California. And I was looking at my thermometer here, and I can see that last night it got down to 43 degrees, which is really chilly for here. Even snowed in Malibu last week. Before I finish up editing this, I just had a couple of things I wanted to say. One is that I'm going to be posting probably every other week for a little while because I need to kind of find some balance. I've got lots of projects I'm trying to work on and things are just getting too hectic. So I'm not going to post quite as frequently. So it'll be every other week until we're on the road again in a bigger way. But speaking of getting on the road, we're really excited because John and I have now had our first shot, or as they say in the UK, we've had our first jabs. And so it really makes everything seem possible. Maybe the borders will open, maybe we'll get up to Canada like we would like to. So I hope you guys are having some luck in getting in line to get your shots, but anyway, we feel pretty good about it. It's a given that when you travel, things are going to go wrong, and that always happens on a trip. But it's also true that things always go wrong when you're making videos. And so this week is no exception. Sometimes it's, video, sometimes it's audio, it's sometimes some other combination of things. But this week I've had some audio issues and just gaps. And so I'm going to try to make lemons out of the, actually, I've already made lemons. I'm going to try to make lemonade out of the lemons that I have and put something up here. At the end of the video, I know I had promised that I would do an unpacking segment, because somebody had asked me to do one. And so I will do that. I'll probably have to do voiceover because the audio was just a mess, even though I had mic'd up for it. And I'm also going to answer, in the middle, I'm going to answer a question that I had recently from someone who wanted me to do a video on footwear, but I don't have enough to say about footwear. But I will throw that in the middle of this video where I refer to footwear. And speaking of vloggers, I've had a number of questions from people wanting me to talk about camera gear and vlogging and that sort of thing, starting a YouTube channel. I don't want to do that on my channel per se because that's not what my channel's about and I'm no expert, but at the same time I want to be helpful to people who are thinking of doing something like this. And so I thought, well, maybe I could figure out a way to do a Zoom call with not too many people, but for those of you who are really interested in starting their own channel or documenting their travels, I'm happy to share what I know. I don't know a whole lot, but I'm happy to do that. If you want to participate in a Zoom call, then I will put my email address in the description box below this video. And just to remind people, because I still have people who don't know how to get to that, the description box on a laptop is where it says show more. Then you'll see it open up and you'll see links and things like that. On an iOS device, it is going to be there's a little tiny triangle on the upper right-hand corner just below the video, really small. You almost have to have your glasses on to see it. If you click on that, that will expand it and show you the description box. So I will put my email address in there, and if you email me, put Zoom in the subject line so that I can find them more easily. And tell me that you are interested in starting a channel or learning how to do video. And if I don't have too many people, maybe we can do a Zoom call with a small group of people and I can help you that way. Because I do want to be helpful to people. I don't want you to have to make some of the same mistakes that I made in learning stuff. So that's that. And now I'm going to get back to my editing this basket of lemons. Just east of Death Valley National Park, near Beatty, Nevada, is the ghost town of Rhyolite. It had been 30 years since John and I stopped by, so we decided to make a quick detour. The town dates back to 1905, when gold was discovered in the Bullfrog Mining District. At its peak in 1907, The town had 5,000 people who could enjoy all the modern conveniences such as concrete sidewalks, water, electricity, telephones, newspapers, a hospital, a school, an opera house, a swimming pool, railroad service, and even a stock exchange. But it was to be extremely short-lived. The mine was overvalued and it collapsed as quickly as it rose to fame. By 1916, it was all but abandoned. Now it's overseen by the Bureau of Land Management and serves as a tourist attraction or background for photographers and videographers. On a warmer day, it might have been nice to camp nearby for some interesting sunrises and sunsets. But we had reservations at Red Rock Canyon Campground, just west of Las Vegas. On a windy, brisk morning, John and I made the short drive from the campground to Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area. Between November and May, the park operates on a timed entry reservation basis. In order to drive the 12-mile one-way loop, you need to reserve a time online. If you have an America the Beautiful annual pass, you can enter your pass number at checkout, but you will still need to pay the $2 reservation fee. We booked 10 a.m. slots for 2 days, knowing that there were multiple hikes we wanted to do. At the visitor center, we picked up a trail map and hiking recommendations. For our first hike, we opted for the Calico Tanks Trail. So nice of people to build stairs for us. It's a cool little hike. And it's only like 1.1 miles to the end and then another 1.1 back. And here's the view of Lost Wages. Time for a fig bar break. It's a great little hike. There's a little scrambling, so if you don't like scrambling on rocks and stuff, make sure you wear good footwear, stuff that, none of these tennis shoe things. I see these people wearing tennis shoe with these slick bottoms, but, and also a walking stick is very helpful. Okay, shoes, real quickly. I love Merrell, but I love them because they fit my foot. So the first thing is to find a manufacturer that works for your particular foot. I have a slightly narrow foot, but the toe box is still big enough and they carry half sizes. I'm a 9.5, which is a really difficult size sometimes to find. So find the manufacturer that works for you, and then if you kind of stick with them, I think you might find that it's always going to work. Do not buy some cheap weird brand of boot from, Walmart or Target or something like that. Buy a good company that actually makes hiking boots. And then from there, it really, these are my boots. It really depends on what kind of style. You can get high top. In the old days, that's what we wore. We wore these really heavy leather. I mean, they weighed a ton. But fortunately now they're really lightweight, and then they sometimes come in different heights with respect to here. So not just the ankle height, but something just a little higher. I don't like those because they rub against the bones on my foot. So I really like these. Make sure you get something that's waterproof, not water resistant, but waterproof. And that way you don't have to carry around, rubber boots or anything like that. Make sure it has a really good grippy sole. You don't want anything like these shoes I have on. Nothing with a smooth bottom. So don't use, typical running around the neighborhood kind of shoes. Make sure it has a really good a sole with lots of grippy stuff so you don't slip around. So those are that's my biggest suggestion. And as far as socks, I really don't, again, I look for socks that fit my foot because I'm kind of between two sizes. I'm between kind of a medium and a large in some manufacturers. And I have found a manufacturer that is perfect for me. It's called, let me see, it's called Balega, B-A-L-E-G-A. It's just a combination of different fibers. It is not wool. I don't typically wear wool socks unless I'm going to Vermont and gonna go skiing or something. So unless I'm doing something really cold weather, but I usually avoid cold weather. So my suggestion is just get a nicely cushioned sock that works with the boots that you wear. And when you buy your boots, go to a company that knows how to fit you. So go to someplace like an REI. Where they have people that actually know how to fit a hiking boot onto someone to make sure you have enough room between your toenails and the tip of that boot, because you don't want to lose a toenail because you've been banging against the front of that toe box all day long. So those are my few tips that I have on hiking boots.
So what is it you're making?
I'm making vegetable barley soup because it's kind of a soup day. It's chilly out there. And we're at this beautiful overlook. Oh my gosh, it's incredible. And then I'm gonna make chocolate cake in the bread maker.
Whoa, whoa. Don't you wish you were here with me eating her soup and her chocolate cake? Rah. Okay, now she says she's done this before, but I'm looking for an epic fail.
Gotta put your hand over it. No fails there. So the chocolate cake, this also does jam, by the way, and I've been doing a lot of jam with this with my blueberries that I harvested this last summer and froze. So the liquid goes on the bottom, so I put all the liquid ingredients on the bottom. I made this at home, and I thought it had too much liquid, so I reduced it by a 1/4 cup. And I mixed everything before I left. All the dry ingredients. I did this last time too. I need to do it out here. Don't want to spill. Gonna push. Oops, I can't see. I can't see without my glasses. Mode. Oh, cake. Push cake. When it starts to smell, because if this thing sometimes overcooks, so when it really starts to smell, I'll check it with a toothpick. I know a few of you have pointed out that the new Ascent does not have the little pop-up side things anymore. And the truth is, I've ordered a Lagoon mount, and I'm going to probably remove both of them. And I'll put 2 mounts, one in the front, one in the back. And that would probably give me even more cooking space and a better table for eating on. So I'll be experimenting as soon as the Lagoon tables come in. They're on back order right now. I mean the Lagoon mount thing. Stunk a little bit, but I stuck a toothpick in there. It came out dry. I think it's done. If you think we're just having chocolate cake for dinner, you'd be right, with whipped cream. It's another cold morning here, just above Las Vegas, 35 degrees in Vegas, so it's probably colder here. And we're going on a 6-mile hike today. We left the thermometer under the car last night to see how cold it was, and it got down to 30.9. That away. A little bit of erosion. Whoever lived here had a nice view. This is the windy side, but we're just about halfway. There's the man with the keys. To get them. By 6 a.m., we were back on the road again, heading home. The easiest way to unload the vehicle is to pick up a couple of crates. Costco sells collapsible crates that we like. Typically, I load a crate, John carries it into the house, empties it, and brings back an empty crate. We can get the inside emptied out with about 8 crates full of gear and food. I generally start with the food, the dry food, and then I go to the food in the refrigerator, and then our clothing, the bedding, towels, basically everything. All the bedding and towels get washed and returned immediately to the rig. We like to keep all of our gear and a few items of clothing and maybe even some food in the van because we live in earthquake country. And if we couldn't sleep in the house, we could sleep in the van.
Nine. One. He's got pen. Yeah. Okay, I think this is number 5. A little bit more clothing, jackets. We go that. Okay, let's do some electronics now. I don't have as much electronics this time because I didn't take my laptop, a bunch of other stuff. Okay, so there are the electronics going in.
Greasy up, it's
and that's I think that's number 6. Okay, now for number 7, the bathroom stuff. The dirty clothes. Okay. Last thing is to take the trasharoo off. That's it. I think the only thing we need back here is the bread machine. But of course, we're not finished. Everything has to be unpacked, cleaned, put back in the van. And of course, I have to clean the van, so I'll start the wash and then I'll get to the cleaning. Okay, all the bedding is clean. Okay, that's it for this week, but next time I have a video that I've collaborated with Playing with Sticks. Drew, who lives in Alaska, we have collaborated on a video answering questions about travel to Alaska. So whether you've been there, whether you want to go again, I hope you'll come back to hear our take on traveling to Alaska.